On the news tonight, Governor Adeleke promises to upgrade infrastructural facilities in Osun State as the State House of Assembly inauguration hold on the 6th of next month. Federal government charges custodial centers and smooth rehabilitation of inmates nationwide. On the foreign scene, World Health Organization declared global emergency on the spread of deadly monkey virus. Good evening, welcome to the major report. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has assured the people of the state that he will justify the confidence reposed in him by upgrading infrastructural facilities in the state as well as engendering good governance. The governor gave the assurance at the palaces of Atauja of Osogbo Atimi of Edeland. Governor's office correspondent Abdurrahim Adeklekun now completes the story.
As part of efforts to show his appreciation over his triumph at the Supreme Court, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has paid a royal homage on the Atauja of Osogbo land Oba Jimoh Oyetunji Olanipekun Laroye II at his palace. Senator Adeleke described the Atauja of Osogbo land as Baba Gomina because of his steadfastness to uphold the truth at all times. He lauded the monarch for risking all to identify with him during the trying times. Responding to the royal request for infrastructural upgrade of facilities in the state capital, Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke said the road construction projects being implemented are mere tips of the iceberg, saying more is in the offing. The governor said he has been able to achieve so much by blocking the revenue leakages and capital flight to promote financial transparency.
Báwo la ṣe ṣe bá a ṣe ṣe ni pé a block all the leakages gbogbo ibi tó ń kó wa lọ tó ń kó lọ sẹ́kù tó ń kó lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà tó ń kó lọ sí gbogbo ẹ̀ mo block ẹ̀ dànù.
He stressed that any contractor that tries to sabotage quality standard will be severely dealt with, vowing that his administration will not compromise standard.
Àwa wá ṣiṣẹ́ ní ìwé ká jókòó sínú èsì kò sí tó jọ. Our teacher ma check here and first grade lẹ́ni first grade ọ̀nà tàbá gbéṣẹ́ fún ẹ tó o bá ṣe tó bá lọ ṣe mẹ́rẹ́mẹ́rẹ́ òótọ́ rẹ ni o ò lówó gbà ọ̀tún tó bá ṣe kó tó yẹ kó ṣe. That's it. Our leader policy, and you know what, this government is a government of rule of law.
The Atauja of Osogbo land Oba Oyetunji Laroye II, while welcoming the governor, assured him of his continued support, saying that the palace is a bedrock of support for the state government. He stressed that as a father of all and custodian of culture, Obas cannot be politician but can recommend credible individuals for public office. He said people of Osogbo stood by him and celebrated his victory by closing the traditional Ojaba market on the day the Supreme Court gave verdict. He lauded the governor for regular payment of salaries and emoluments of active and retired workers since he became the governor of Osun State. He also enjoined all stakeholders that will be working with the governor to ensure that dividend of democracy reach all and sundry. Speaking earlier, the secretary to the state government, Alhaji Teslim Igbalaye, said Senator Adeleke, upon assumption of office, taken giant strides to address issues of Ilesha water project that will kick off very soon, saying that the 332 boreholes sunk in each of the wards are implemented as a stopgap scheme for water provision across the state. He added that the water works will soon be reactivated while listing some of the achievements of the administration. He said the debt profile of the state was 406 billion naira, excluding the debts owed to contractors by the time the administration took over. He listed the construction of Isoishu, Isoiwe, Ashubiaro Road, John McCain Road, and the remaining part of the OK Pure Water that leads to Onababaona. Others are Ayekale Ilie Road, saying that the governor loves Osogbo so much. At the palace of Timi of Edeland, Governor Adeleke was full of joy for the unprecedented support enjoyed from home, saying that the world could attest to the steadfastness of Oba Muniruddin Adeshola Lawal Laminisa I in supporting his governorship ambition. Senator Adeleke said Timi of Edeland did everything humanly possible to see that he won the July 16, 2022 governorship election, as well as the court litigations that came after. Senator Adeleke, who sang various songs of victory and appreciation commended people of Ede land for their patience and confidence in his ability to deliver good governance. In his royal speech, the team of Edeland, Oba Muniruddin Adeshola Lawal, thanked God for Senator Ademola Adeleke's victory at the Apex Court, saying the judgment is a pointer to the beginning of good things. Just like Atauja, the team of Edeland noted that since the emergence of Governor Adeleke in the state, people have started enjoying dividends of democracy, such as regular payment of salaries and pensions, as well as infrastructural development across the length and breadth of the state. The monarch charged residents of Osun State to continue to support Governor Adeleke in order for him to succeed in office, while using the avenue to enjoin Governor Adeleke to remember Ede in his quest for infrastructural development of the state. The monarch advised those who will be privileged to be in governor's cabinet to be loyal to him and be truthful in their dealings so as not to betray the trust people repose in the state helmsman. The shout of Imole rented the air as the convoy drove through the township from Cottage Junction down to the palace in Ojatimi, where residents had converged to catch a glimpse of the governor. It has been Abdurrahim Adekilekun reporting.
In the meantime, Osun State chapter of the Association of Veteran Journalists has described the Supreme Court affirmation of the election of Governor Ademola Adeleke as a rekindled hope in the capability of the judiciary to deepen democracy in the country. The association, in a statement by its chairman, Adepoju Atobatele, and secretary, Olushola Ajiboye, lauded the Supreme Court justices for standing with the legitimate choice of the people as freely expressed on the July 16, 2022 governorship poll. It noted that judgment, which upheld all grounds conferred by the appeal court, is a watershed in determining the electoral dispute that could have undermined the democracy and rule of law. The Association of Veteran Journalists urged people of the state to give maximum support to Governor Ademola Adeleke in his effort to reposition the socio-economic and political paradigm of the state in meeting their expectations. The management and staff of Osun State Universal Basic Education Board has congratulated Governor Ademola Adeleke on his gallant victory at the Supreme Court of Nigeria. This is contained in a release signed by the Executive Secretary Osun Subeb, Mr. Yaya Bakari. According to the release, Subeb expressed gratitude to God and wished Governor Adeleke a fruitful tenure and prayed God to grant him the knowledge, wisdom and understanding to share the sheep of the state for the benefit of humanity. Residents of the state have expressed concern over the inability of members of the State House of Assembly to hold plenary sessions regularly after the conclusion of the general elections. Those who spoke to Osbc News on the issue maintained that the lawmakers have the mandate to serve the people till the last day in office. Our reporter, Oluchi Amuda, completes the story.
The Osun State House of Assembly is the legislative arm of the government of Osun State. It is a unicameral legislature with 26 members elected from 30 local government areas and one area office of the state known as state constituencies. In some places, 2 local government areas are merged to form a single state constituency. This makes the number of legislators in Osun State House of Assembly 26. The fundamental functions of the Assembly are to enact laws, amend or repeal existing laws, and oversight of the executive. A former member of Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Akinoye Ajibola, explains more about the functions of the Assembly.
The Constitution is clearly, it's clear about their duties to make laws, though they still have other functions that we call oversight function, and part of their duty is to pass the appropriation bill, which is one of their objectives. They represent their constituent. The tenure is 4 years. It's 4 years, and like the current seventh assembly, they are going to wind up by I think June 5. They still have up till June 5th before this current house we wind up.
The 7th Osun State House of Assembly will be winding up in a couple of weeks. Many have, however, continued to wonder why the members of the Assembly have not been holding plenary sessions regularly after the conclusion of the general elections. Osbc News was at the Assembly complex and observed that the lawmakers were not on the ground to oversee the business of lawmaking. A social affairs analyst, Mr. Ayuade Aderinkola, described the situation as worrisome. He noted that the action of the lawmakers is a disservice to the state.
The majority of them, they lost the election. And since they lost the election, and they find it difficult to sit again, it's normal. It will happen like that. No, we cannot force them to go to the assembly. We don't have the power. They have the power, and since they lose, the loss is gallant. They are supposed to sit and have a decision about the progress of the state. They don't love the state. That is why they don't sit.
In his submission, Honorable Ajibola, however, maintained that the functions of the lawmakers go beyond sitting at the plenary alone, as the majority of them might be on the field for oversight functions.
It is not compulsory that they have to be in the house all the time. You know, by now they might have been doing, maybe they are on another assignment that borders on the development of the state. You know, they have so many committees, you know. The committee can be meeting, and the essence of the committee is to ease the work of the house. You know, we have so many ministry, and each of the committee will oversee one ministry or the other. So we cannot say they are not doing anything.
Reports say the 8th Osun State House of Assembly is expected to be inaugurated on the 6th of next month by Governor Ademola Adeleke. Oluchi Amuda, Osbc News.
Meanwhile, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke on the 6th of next month inaugurated members of the 8th House of Assembly of Osun. The clerk of the House, Mr. Akinwale Amusho, made it known while inaugurating a 7-man ad hoc committee under his leadership, saddled with the responsibility of ensuring seamless inauguration of the members of the 8th Assembly. Parliamentary reporter Oluwatosin Oledokun now completes the report.
This is the Osun State House of Assembly Alo Chamber. In the next couple of weeks, we are expecting the members of the 8th Assembly to be constituted in this Alo Chamber. This is one of the 26 seats where it is expected for members of the 8th Assembly to be occupied. We want to believe come June 6th next month, the 8th Assembly will be officially and constitutionally constituted under the authority and able leadership of Governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke. 6th June 2023, members of the 8th House of Assembly will be officially inaugurated by Governor Ademola Adeleke. However, barely a few weeks ahead of the historic day, Clerk of the House, Mr. Akinwale Amusho, today inaugurated 7-man ad hoc committee who will direct the activities lined up for the successful inauguration, while constituted the 7-man ad hoc committee, which including publicity, protocol and invitation, security, entertainment, decoration, technical, sanitation and medical committees. According to the clerk, the central mandate of the constituted committee is to ensure the similar process towards the successful inauguration of the 8 assembly members. He charged the committee to prioritize peace, unity and successful outing of the inauguration come June the 6th next month.
As we may be aware, the current assembly of Osun State is winding up, and God willing, by the 5th day of June, the 7th assembly of Osun will come to an end, and there's need to prepare ground to inaugurate a new assembly come the 6th day of June 2023. That's the sense of inaugurating this ad hoc committee.
Speaking shortly after the inauguration, Publicity Chairman who doubles as the Director of Information and Public Relations, Osun State House Assembly, Mr. Laide Lawan, explained that with the permission of the 7th Assembly Speaker, Honorable Timothy Uwe, necessary plans geared towards smooth inauguration of the members of the 8th Assembly is the solely responsibility of the constituted committees.
The committee, like I said, has just been inaugurated today by the clerk of the House, who has the mandate of Mr. Speaker, that Honorable Timothy Uwe. to go ahead to inaugurate committee. The central aims and objective, all the committee is to see to the success of the inauguration of the assembly.
In the course of the inauguration of the 7-man ad hoc committee, Chairman Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, Osun State Chapter, Comrade Akim Adesina, was also sworn in for another tenure in office. Uluwatosin Oladokun, Osbc News.
The federal government has said the sum of 2.44 billion naira was earmarked to feed inmates in all the custodial centers across the country. Speaking at a 2-day conference on the Congestion and Corrections Administrations today in Abuja, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Chaibu Gore, said the amount is due to the congestion of the custodial centers. He called for the reform of the service and custodial centers for the smooth rehabilitation of inmates. But Gore said that there is the need for holistic correction reform, including the modernization of the custodial centers to ensure the reformation and rehabilitation of inmates. Stakeholders have stressed the need to build new facilities and redesign the bail system. Kogi State Government has approved 65 years as the retirement age for teachers in the state. Reports say the approval is sequel to the passage of retirement age of teachers in Kogi State and for related matters Bill 2022 on Thursday by the House of Assembly. Speaker of the House, Mr. Abati Ukolawole, said with the passage of the bill, teachers in the state will retire upon attainment of 65 years or 40 years of pensionable service, whichever comes earlier. He said that the public service rule or any legislation that requires a person to retire from public service at 60 years of age after 35 years of service shall not apply to teachers in Kogi State from the date of the commencement of the law. Late Professor Gabriel Oyedeji has been described as a great man who lived an exemplary life whose indelible imprint in the lives of many can never be forgotten. This formed the crux of messages of the people at the commendation service organized by the management of Uniosun Teaching Hospital in honor of the deceased. Oluwatobiloba Dugniga has the detail.
The commendation service organized by the management of Uniosun Teaching Hospital in honor of late Professor Gabriel Oyedeji attracted dignitaries from all walks of life as families and associates of the late All Conversion Ophthalmology Car Park, Uniosun Teaching Hospital Osogbo to pay their last respect. In his opening speech, the Chief Medical Director, Uniosun Teaching Hospital, Professor Peter Olaiton, described late Professor Oyedeji as a teacher of teachers and a father to all whose lifestyle is worthy of emulation. Professor Olaiton, who further described the late as a man who lived an impactful life, said his memories, love for God and service to humanity can never be forgotten.
While he was here, he actually raised a lot of men. He came here as one of the oldest professor in the college and in the teaching hospital. So he was able to really raise men, taught men, raise men, ensure that people became the best they could be. So he brought up the younger ones, he brought up institutional culture, academic culture, professional culture, and he showed us how to interact with patients, how to run academics, how to run our profession. He was a great example to us.
In his words of admonition, Dr. Samuel Odenride enjoined well many individuals to live their lives as if death will be coming in handy. Dr. Odenride stated further that the indelible marks and impacts of late Professor Oyedeji in the lives of individuals and in the community will always be a lesson to all.
We will only be remembered by our works, not by our titles, not by our office, our position. Somebody said the main thing of our life is to be remembered by the works of a man and also the quality of the deeds of that man. There are two things that people will remember about us. One, our works. That's why the scripture says, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify my Father who is in heaven. Good works are visible.
According to the first son,
Professor Olushola Oyedeji said his late father's teachings to understand the complexity of life so as to manage them will never be forgotten, stressing that the virtue of humility, kindness, respect and love of their father for all will be their watchword. He appreciated the management of Uniosun Teaching Hospital Osogbo for honoring their late father with a befitting commendation service.
Baba has actually lived a very productive life, and the legacies he has passed down has been that of hard work, respect for people, humility, love for everybody, and do your best in everything that God has given to you. So those are the major takeaways I've taken away from his life.
The commendation service saw the payment of last respect to late Professor Gabriel Oyedeji by the management and members of Uniosun Teaching Hospital Osogbo, families and associates, among others. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, Osbc News.
May the soul of the deceased rest in peace. Now welcome to our sports segment. Nigeria's under-17 coach Udoka Ubade is confident that the Golden Eaglets will seal qualification for the 2023 Under-17 World Cup when they take on Burkina Faso in the quarterfinals of the Under-17 African Cup of Nations tonight in Algiers. To qualify for the stage, Eaglet beat South Africa 3-2, while Burkina Faso edged holders Cameroon 2-1. Speaking ahead of the game, Ubade said Burkina Faso will not deny its team the opportunity to qualify for the Under-17 World Cup for its record of 11 times. The Eaglets are the most successful nation in the history of the tournament with 5 titles and 3 runners-up medals. Today's encounter, built for Nelson Mandela Stadium, Algiers, will also be a repeat of the 2001 Under-17 African final in Seychelles, where Eagles hammered the young Ethlons 3-0. And out to foreign stories, World Health Organization Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus has called on countries to remain vigilant in the spread of the deadly monkey virus. Olubumi Ajibori-Agbola has the details of the stories and others.
Ghebreyesus said the virus is still around and further waves and outbreaks could continue, but the highest level of alert is over. He further said more than 87,000 cases and 140 deaths have been reported from 111 countries. During the global outbreak, almost 90% fewer cases were recorded over the last 3 months compared with the previous 3-month period, meaning the highest level of alert is no longer required and it is no longer a global public health emergency. The United Kingdom has confirmed it is supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles it requested for its fight against invading Russian forces. According to the manufacturer, the Storm Shadow cruise missile has a range of over 250 kilometers. By contrast, the U.S. supplied HIMARS missiles used by Ukraine only have a range of around 80 kilometers. UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said the weapons will give Ukraine the best chance of defending itself. Mr. Wallace indicated that the missiles would allow Ukraine to push back Russian forces based on Ukrainian sovereign territory, adding that the UK took the decision after Russia continued down a dark path of targeting civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. Israeli military has killed 2 Palestinian Islamic Jihad commanders in airstrikes in Gaza during a 3rd day of fighting with militants there. A pre-dawn attack on an apartment in Khan Yunus killed the head of PIJ's rocket launching force and 2 others who the military said were militants. His deputy was also killed in a strike in a nearby town. The armed wing of PIJ confirmed that the head of its missile unit, Ali Hassan Gali, also known as Abu Muhammad, was killed in the attack, which is described as a treacherous Zionist assassination. Olubumi Ajiboye-Agbola reporting for Osbc News.
To end the major report on Osbc TV, here again are the main points. Governor Ademola Adeleke has promised to upgrade state infrastructural facilities as means of justifying the confidence reposed in him by the people. The federal government has created custodial centers across the country to enable smooth rehabilitation of inmates. On the foreign scene, we brought you a report that World Health Organization has declared global emergency on the spread of deadly monkey virus, asking countries to be vigilant. That ends the major report on Osbc TV. It was edited by Adebari Ejimakinde. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Good night.